Give it about 15 seconds and then we'll go. Hello and good evening, all. Thank you for joining me once again on my Let's Talk Facebook Live. Tonight, we're talking about unmarried women and some of the reasons why, or actually, we're going to focus mainly on one of the reasons why they remain unmarried. Pardon me. I had a friend reach out to me shortly after my very first Facebook Live, and she said to me, "So your Facebook Lives, you're going to talk about anything?" And I said, "Yep." And she says, "Anything like what?" I said, "Anything that you guys want to talk about." She goes, "Good. I have a topic for you. I want to talk about unmarried women that treat their sons like their spouse." And I went, "Oh, that's a hot topic. That's a hot topic. That is a hot topic that's going to garner a lot of responses." So here we go. I see some people on the live there. Um, Hi, Sandra. Hi, Paula. I can't see you all. We're just trying to adjust a little bit so I can see the comments. But hi, thank you for joining me. So, yes, she wants to talk about women who are unmarried, whether they were married before and divorced or just never married, and they have kids, particularly sons, and those sons take the place of what would have been their spouse. So, to give you a clear idea of what I'm talking about, let me read you what she sent me. She said, I'm going to read right from my notes because I can't remember all of this. She said, "Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Paula. Thanks for joining." So here's what she said. "Some mothers refuse to marry or start a new relationship when they have a son, especially when the son is a product of her first love. Once they lose that first love, their son becomes their provider. They naturally don't care if the son has his own life with a wife and children." Now, she really wanted me to make sure I stressed that there's nothing wrong with kids taking care of their parents. There's nothing wrong with sons being close to their mothers and taking care of their mothers. Nothing wrong with that. So she wanted me to stress that fact. So I'll continue. "Don't get me wrong, children should help their parents whenever they can, but a mother should never depend on her son for everything, especially when she has other children and or is able to do it herself. Some examples are she wants to go on vacation, he has to pay for it. Nails and hair has to be done, he has to pay for it. Not only does he have to pay for it, he has to come and pick her up and take her there. Wait maybe and then take her home or go run around and then come back and take her home. Church function, same thing. He has to pay for it and take her there and bring her back home. I'm going to pause again because I think it's important to reiterate there's nothing wrong with helping your parents. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about your mother needing a helping hand once in a while and you're saying, "Of course, mom, I'll come and help you. What do you need? I need such and such done." "Okay, can I come on Tuesday? Does that work?" "Yes, Tuesday is fine. Thank you, son. You're welcome, mother." We're not talking about that. Now remember, in her scenario, she is still young enough to work and take care of her financial needs. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about mothers who have replaced what would have been a spouse with their sons. I know, and you all know that have been to my conference or know me well, I take care of my mom. I'm the primary caregiver of my mom. It does interrupt my life a lot. I have to be very intentional about making sure I take care of myself and doing the things that I want to do, but also finding time for her. It's a really tricky juggling act, and I understand that. But what my friend is referring to is mothers that take over their sons' lives, especially when, and this is where things get really bad, that son finds a woman. Now he has a girlfriend, or worse still, a wife. Now that's when things get really bad because now there seems to be this internal struggle. competition that the wife probably doesn't even know that she's involved in. Now it's, I need you to come and do this. I need you to come and do that. You don't care about me anymore. You find a woman now and you don't need me. I'm not important anymore. The guilt trip starts. Um, Let me give you a typical example that my friend gave me. Hi, Sandra. My friend said, here's a typical example. And this is her personal story. She said, we had plans just to spend some time together. We haven't seen each other because I work days and he works evenings or mornings. So this particular day, we had our day together and we were on our way to spend the day together when his mother called and she had somewhere to go. Remember, she owns a house, has other children, drives, and doesn't work. I was driving because, again, he had just come from work, and this is the one time or one of the few times that they were able to meet up together. So he was a little tired, so she opted to drive. Well, she had to pull off the road into a plaza, get out of the car, give him the car to go get his mother, and call her sister to come and pick her up. That's madness. There's no other word to describe it. That's madness. That's inconsiderate. I don't fault the mother for calling and asking for the ride, but the second he tells her, and I don't know if he did or not, she didn't explain that in her story. I don't know if he said, "Listen, I'm on my way out to breakfast with my wife. It's gonna have to be later." I don't know if he did that or not, but if he did, that's where the story should have ended. That's where the ask should have ended. "Sorry, mom, can't come. I'd love to come and help you, but me and my wife are on our way out. Um, Sorry, can't help you. Hi, Becca." And that's where it should have ended. How do you let your wife get I can't even comprehend this. How do you let your wife get out of the car, leave her on the side of the road, go listen, if the first few words aren't blood, hospital, emergency, or death, I'm coming later. I'm coming late. I'm not leaving my wife or my husband at the side of the road. I'm not doing that. Paula says boundaries. Where are the boundaries once married? Hallelujah. But I will say this, and for those of you that were at my conference, you know where I'm going with this. We teach people how to treat us. So I don't necessarily blame that husband's mother. I blame the son. He needed to nip that in the bud a long time ago. I can understand him getting caught up in doing things for his mother when he wasn't married because he doesn't have a wife or a girlfriend to answer to. I agree, Stephanie, there are no boundaries, clearly. He doesn't have a wife or girlfriend at that time to answer to. So I can see him dropping everything and doing anything for his mother. And some men are mama boys. We understand that. They're really close to their mothers, especially if they were around, if the mother was married initially and it wasn't a good marriage and the husband left and it devastated the mother and he witnessed all of that, he's going to be the protector. You best believe he's going to want to protect his mom. So I get that and I understand that. Good evening, Stacy. Thanks for joining us or joining me. I get that, I understand that, but once you are with a woman, especially once you're married, that's your family. That's your family now. You can do for your mother, but not to the extent where you're leaving your wife on the side of the road and taking off in the car. You mean you didn't have enough time to drop her back home or continue your date and then go later? There needs to be boundaries. There needs to be respect. And mothers out there, women, listen to me. If you are treating your sons like that because you don't have a husband and he is your facto husband or whatever the case may be, we need to stop doing that. Because for several reasons, I don't think I have enough time to go into all of the reasonings. Number one, when you have that, now you've closed yourself off to even finding a husband. You're not looking to receive. You're just like, you got your son, you'll call him to shovel, you'll call him to go do the groceries, you'll call him for that, you'll call him for that. So where is your space to receive your own husband? That's number one. Number two, your son's married. What's he supposed to do with his wife and kids? Park them on the side of the road? We have to stop doing that. We have to let them live their lives and us live our lives. Sandra, my dear, welcome. Let's not play into bad behavior. Why is the wife getting it? Well, I kind of agree. I think I would have ended up on CP24 as you're trying to pull me out the car because I'm not getting out. Like I kind of agree. But in her defense, when you've seen it so many times, and there's probably been a lot, again, I haven't gotten into details. I'm imagining there was a lot of back and forth discussions, fights, arguments, disagreements about this till you get to the point where you say to yourself, I'm not arguing. I'm getting out the car. I'm just going to call my sister. I get that part. I'm sure there was times where there was, yeah, I'm not getting out of the car. That's crazy. And then you get to the point where, yeah, you're not doing it. Stephanie says, I have boys and I always tell them when they have a family, I am no longer your priority. That's great for you, Stephanie. And I hope other mothers do that. And again, I'm going to reiterate what my friend kept saying over and over again. This is not about helping your parents or helping your mother. That's not what we're talking about here. Please don't say, okay, we're never helping. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about boundaries. We're talking about priorities. We're talking about respect. Ultimately, we're talking about respect. Respect your son's time. You need something done. It can't be drop what you're doing now and come and do what I need done. It needs to be, I need something done. Do you have some time next week? The two of you go back and forth and try to set on a day and a time that works for both of you that doesn't interrupt his family life. I understand. I know personally some women who are very happy being unmarried. They're not looking for a husband. They are quite happy in their single lives, again, for a lot of reasons. Um, like, the pickings are slim out there. The pickings are slim. You don't know what you're gonna or who you're gonna end up with. If I look at myself as an example, I have so much going on that when he comes, when the Lord sends him, he's going to have to understand who I am and join in. I don't want there to be a competition between him and my career. So there's a lot of women who are happily single and just living their lives and don't want to be married, and that's great for them. That's a choice they made for themselves. But if you do want to be married, if you're do looking for that spouse, you have to let go of your son, let him live his life so that you can create space and room for your husband to come. Sandra, seems like some of these men are scared of their mothers. I don't know if I would say I know where you're going with that, Sandra, and I think you're right that they don't want to hurt their feelings, don't want to disappoint them. Again, especially if they saw the father treating the mother badly, they probably subconsciously want to make up for that. There's a lot of reasonings why they do that. I had to train myself not to drop all the plans that I had and go running to take care of my mom when she wanted something. It's a hard thing to do because you love them so much and you want them to be happy, you want them to be safe and all that, but you have to live your life. You have to live your life. So, Stephanie, thank you for telling your sons that once they get a family, you're not a priority. Um, I have another friend too who taught her son how to treat women by making him take her and his younger sister out for dinner. And the whole 9 yards, open car door, open the restaurant door, pull out the chair, pay for the meal. And I thought, oh, whoever gets to marry him will be thanking you for the rest of her life. Those are the kind of things that we should be showing our sons and teaching our sons, not teaching them how to be mama boys and completely ignoring their wives because their mother needs something. Sometimes in marriage communication and scheduling time together can be challenging about who is priority in the marriage. Yeah, that could be a tug of war. That I'm not married, so I don't know what that's like. One of the things I hear a lot about marriages is that there's a lot of compromising. There's a lot of compromising going on. So I don't know. Again, I'm not married. For those of you that are married, I trust you when you say communication and scheduling of time is really difficult. Um, so we got to do better as women. We got to do better. There would be no peace if I was not the priority. Oh, Sandra says there would be no peace in her household if she was not the priority as his wife. Preach, sister, preach. Yeah, we have and women, wives, girlfriends of these sons that are on beck and call with their mothers. You too teach him how to treat you better. It is a true partnership. Thank you, Rebecca. Teach them how to treat you better. See, here's what happens the first time the mother calls while he's with the girlfriend or the wife, and he says, I gotta go. And that's when you start the foundation. Where are you going? Why? For all you who are screaming at me through the screen, I get it. It's not that easy as the new girlfriend or the new wife to put your foot down and say, listen, we were just going to have dinner. Listen, we were just going to the movies. You have to tell her later. I know that I know it's not easy. Again, I take care of my mom. Better still, I'm African. Let's not even get into the African culture, how that just will not fly. But we have to teach them different. We can't keep doing the same old, and then complaining about it. This is not going to fly. Then go marry your mother, with all due respect. But I mean, what else are we gonna do? Don't You can't sit there for 5, 10 years and take that. So I am speaking to all the women out there who are not married, who have sons and who have children. Please examine what you're doing and stop. Respect your son's time or daughter. Respect their time. Respect their relationship. I have another friend who dated a guy, I think they dated for about a year. When they first met, she liked a lot of things about him except for the fact that he had to run home. We're talking grown man. We're talking grown man. He had to always run home, or she would have to go with him to his home, and then they would just sit there for hours on end because he had to be there in the house. Again, I'm not talking about 30s or 40s, I think he's even past his 50s. I'm talking grown man. Listen, we have so many challenges already when it comes to finding a spouse, finding a good man. We just can't add this to the list. We can't add this to the pile. We just can't. He has to do better. You as a wife have to not accept it. And mothers, that's who I'm talking to the most. Mothers, let your sons go. Let them have a life. Maybe you guys can schedule Sunday dinners once a month. And he can say, "Mom, I'll be here every fourth Sunday. Me and the wife and the kids will come and spend the Sunday with you. We'll cook, we'll have dinner." You can do those kind of things. I get being lonely, mothers. I get being lonely. I totally get it. But we can't do this to our kids. Natasha. Hi, Natasha. A good question for the man is, what are you getting from your mom that your relationship needs to develop? What are you getting from your mom that your relationship needs to develop? That's a good question. And since I'm not the son going through that, I can't answer that, but it's a very, very good question. What are they getting? Again, I don't know the dynamics to the 2 friends that I got examples from. I don't know, like, were they married, but was the mother married before? Did she lose her husband? Did he leave in a bad way? Did he treat her badly? Did the son witness that? I don't know the dynamics. I think if there were things like that going on, that would explain why the son feels like he has to overcompensate, why he feels like he needs to do all these things for his mom. Yep, Latifa, lots of enabling going on. But again, we have to take responsibility and accountability for what we allow to happen to us. At some point, we have to put our foot down. For the mom, what are you afraid of losing? She's afraid of losing that connection with her son. She's already lost the husband. Either she's lost the husband or doesn't have a husband, didn't have a husband. And so she's going to replace what she lost, or she's going to fill the space or the void of not having one. I'm back. Sorry, guys. These technical issues. I feel like I'm on a movie screen or TV screen. We're like, oh, cut. Um, yeah, Natasha. I think they're afraid of losing companionship. That son probably gives them companionship. I think there's a tug of war going on with the mother, a competition where she wants to prove to the girlfriend or the wife who she is. She's the mother. She's priority. She, the wife, will never be as important as she, the mother. Um, um, yeah, yeah, I agree. There's a lot of issues, Natasha. There's a lot of We don't have enough time to cover all the different scenarios as to why this is happening, not maybe happening, why this is happening. Enabling abandonment issues, lack of respect, no boundaries, thinking that you are the priority, the wife holds no weight, lack of respect. I mean, there's just so many things here that causes this. So I'm not going to try and try to figure this out. I'm not a psychologist, not a therapist. I'm not going to try and figure out why this happens. I'm just asking women to stop doing it. Stop doing it. We can't have grown men in their 50s and 60s running home. I mean, literally running home because the mother called. Now, I will run home if my phone rang and I answered it, and again, I heard emergency, blood, hospital, or death. Yes, I'm running home. I don't care where I am. I am running home. But if you need the curtains in the living room changed, I'm not coming. You need a run to the store because you ran out of bread and eggs. I'm not coming. When you ate the last bread and eggs that was the last bread and eggs. I'm not coming. If it's garbage day and the garbage hasn't been taken out yet, and I'm not coming. There's got to be a real valid reason for me to leave who I'm with to come running, right? I mean, counseling can work, but I think for counseling to work, Natasha, the mother would have to admit and recognize and accept that she's doing something wrong, and that will be the first step. Is that she has to acknowledge that what she's doing is wrong. Then counseling would work because then she'll be able to receive what she hears in counseling. But if you go to 'em, especially again, as an African, I can speak about being African. I know that ain't gonna fly. I'll tell you that right now, you know. But I don't know. Again, we can debate all the different reasonings why this happens. It just has to stop. Your son has to be free to live his life, to love his wife, to love his children. These men are already working really hard to provide for their families. And whatever little money they have left over, whether they have money left over or not, is going to pay for mom's nails and mom's groceries. Can you pick me up can you buy me a Yes, definitely generational, Stephanie. It goes down the pipelines, definitely generational. You know, 100% generational. If that's all that you see, that's all that you know. And then you repeat what you know, you repeat what you see. She could learn through counseling and therapy, Latifa, she really could. By the way, everybody, she's gonna kill me, but Latifa is my niece. She is my sister's daughter. Yes, Tifa, you're right. They can lose, but we have to get them there. That's the trick right there. You can't just go to somebody and say, "This is what you're doing. It's not good. It's wrong. We really think you need counseling or therapy," and then they're gonna say, "Okay, sure, let's go." There might be some convincing. There might be some convincing there to get them to go. But yeah, there's nothing better than having an outside voice, a different voice than you're used to hearing, telling you what you're doing wrong. So if we can get them into counseling, if we can get them into therapy, that would work. And, ooh, you know who would be the best person to convince them to go? The son. The son might be the Who else is she gonna listen to? The wife clearly cannot come and say to her mother-in-law, "You need counseling or therapy." That's not gonna fly. I can't see that flying. I think the son would need to sit the mother down and say, "Mom, I think we really need to talk to somebody. There's boundaries here that are not being respected. My wife doesn't feel respected. I'm exhausted trying to please the 2 women in my life, that I have no space and no time for myself. And then, yeah, that wouldn't be her place. You're right. That wouldn't be her place to tell the mother-in-law to go to counseling. It would be the son. It would 100% have to be the son that would have to say, Mom, we need to do this. We need to do this." There might even be some threatening involved. "Mom, if you don't agree to do this, then I'm just gonna focus all my attention to my wife. But I wanna find a happy balance. I wanna be there for you as your son, but I need to live my life with my wife. Let's try this. Let's go." Maybe they have some ideas for us. They could counsel us through this. Hmm, let's hope it doesn't get to that, Natasha. Let's hope it doesn't get to his relationship being threatened. But you're right. And that might be what sends him and says, "Listen, things have to change or else. Or else. Things have to change or else." I worked with a lawyer, a partner at a law firm, not the same situation, but kind of similar. He was married, and anybody who knows anything about partners at law firms know how many hours lawyers put in to work. And they had a 1-year old, and he was forever working overtime and overtime, and always at the law firm, always at the firm, always at the firm. Coming home 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, grab something to eat, in bed with laptop on his lap, working, 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 working. And his wife turned to him one day and said, after asking him over and over and over again to not work so much, come home, spend time with her and the son. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I will. I will. I will. I will. I'm so sorry. I will." And never changed. And one day she said to him, "I didn't sign up to be a single mother. So it's either you adjust your hours, you come home at a decent hour, you sit with our son, you play with him, you feed him, you give him his bath, and you put him to bed for the night. Once you've done all that, if you want to go back to the office, have at it. And if you don't agree, you're going to come home one day and the house will be empty." And he took that threat seriously, adjusted his hours. And what ended up happening was when he did go home, play with the son, fed the son, bathe him, put him to bed, he never came back to the office. He stayed home. So, yes, some convincing has to happen. Maybe, unfortunately, some threatening to leave has to happen. Maybe the wife actually leaving, packing up and actually leaving might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Whatever the scenario, something has to be done. This mother has to be told. And a lot of the times, as we know, it takes an outside voice to reach us. And maybe that she'll listen to. So, thank you all for your inputs. Some really, 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 really good inputs. It's just something as I sit here unmarried myself. I don't have a son. I do have a daughter. But I pray that I'm not that kind of mother to my daughter when I want her to do, when I need everything done for me. I hope I can practice what I'm preaching right now. Okay, Shireen. I also don't think the son she say my wife doesn't feel. I think the word should be I'm not putting my wife in that position to feel XYZ. The onus is on him, I agree, to express that he's concerned about how the both of them are making her feel. Really good point. This poor wife probably feels like she doesn't have a leg to stand on, doesn't have a voice, nobody's hearing her, nobody's respecting her. She can't go to her husband to lay complaint because where is the husband? At the mama's house. So she can't even go to him and say, "Honey, what are you doing?" Because he's always with the mother. The mother's not hearing her or respecting her. The husband's not respecting her feelings. She may as well pack up and go. So, ladies, when we take a look around and wonder why we're not married, why we never got remarried after the first marriage, why we're not married, take a look at some of the things that we're doing. Take a look. If you're holding on to something or someone so tightly, you're not allowing space for anything or anyone else to come in. Yeah, they will listen to an outside person. It's a different voice. They will listen to a counsel. My thing is getting them there. I think once they're there, they will listen to them. Because before they get to counseling, all they're hearing is the husband's voice, the son's voice, and possibly the daughter's voice. And most likely the daughter's voice is being told to the mother through the son. The daughter's not going up to her mother-in-law and saying XYZ. She's telling the son, and the son's telling the mother, right? So when that third person, that person that doesn't know anybody, completely neutral, when they start when they because what they do as therapists is they listen to both sides. They let the mother say what she feels, what she needs, what she wants, what she's been doing. Let the son do the same thing. And then as a therapist, your objective is to be objective, right? So sometimes, a lot of the times, an outside voice is what you need to hear. It's sometimes when you have that outside voice come and tell you, that's the first time that you actually really recognize and see what you've been doing. If it's just the wife complaining through the husband, that's all that it is. The wife complaining through the husband. But when you have somebody else come to you and say, "What are you doing?" So what money and time and effort and energy does he left have left over after running all of your errands and paying for your nails and your church activity and putting gas in the car that you don't drive because he's taking you everywhere? When he does all of that, what does he have left over for his wife? The Bible says you are to leave your mother and father and cling to your spouse. So mothers, let the sons go. Let them be sons, but let them be husbands. Yeah, yeah. Lots of mental manipulation going on. I know about that all too well. Lots of mental manipulation going on. And again, I repeat, if the son has seen the mother being treated badly growing up, he might want to be the protector. He might want to love her through that pain and that disappointment that she went through. So again, not a therapist here, just saying to mothers out there, let your sons and sons, men, I was gonna say something, but I don't know if it was appropriate to say, so I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say no, I'm not gonna say it. But men, put your big boy panties on. Put your big boy briefs on. Seriously, you have to put your foot down. You have to put we understand that you love your mother. We understand that you wanna do the best for her and help her out. We appreciate that, but not at the expense of your wife. When your mother calls you for a favor, make her schedule a day and a time that works for you and your wife. I Shireen says, or he's just seen her alone for a long time. It doesn't have to be therapist. It could be a family or friend, but sometimes you need people that are outside of your circle. You just want that different objective voice at all. But it could be, yes, man up, drop the mic. Yes, man up. You have to say something. If you go running every time the mother calls, she's going to keep calling. Now, that first time when you refuse, yeah, there's gonna be problems. There's gonna be that mental manipulation. There's gonna be that carrying on. There's gonna be the you don't love me, you chose her over me. There's gonna be all of that. And then the second time you don't come running, there'll be some more of that. Eventually, it'll be less and less. And you would have trained her to teach you better. You would have trained her to respect your time. You would have trained her to respect your wife and respect your marriage and respect your household and respect your family. Yes, mom, I will dedicate Sundays to you. Every other Sunday, you tell me what you need. I'll go shopping for you. I'll change your curtains for you. We'll have dinner with you every other Sunday. Every other day of the week, every other day of the month, I'm with my family. Now, obviously, this does not include emergencies, clearly, but boundaries need to be set. Schedules maybe need to be set. Absolutely. This conversation should be directed to sisters of the husband as well. They can act entitled to their brother over his wife. Yes, yeah, yeah. Sisters can do that too because he's the only son or has been the only one they rely on for so long. That could happen with sisters as well. That could happen because when you're the only male in the family, especially if you're the oldest, then a lot of responsibility falls on you. Another thing that my friend had said to me was this happens a lot in scenarios where that particular son is the son of that woman's first love. that brings a whole nother dynamic to the table. A whole nother dynamic to the table. If that's who that is. There's a lot of replacing going on here, replacing of emotions and companionship and affection, that needs to be stopped. Um, we've got 5 more minutes left, but I just feel this conversation can go on and on and on. Yeah, it's just something we have to work on. It's something we really, really have to work on. And I know I've been saying mothers and sons a lot, only because that's, my friend's situation and that's her current, dynamic right now, but it could be mother and daughter. It could be, you know, parents and children. I think it happens a lot, though, with mothers and sons, but it can be any one of those dynamics. It could be as well, sisters and brothers too. I've seen some sisters take ownership over their brothers, don't like any girl he dates, you know, same scenario there. So, what do we do? How do we do better? How do we respect each other? As has been said tonight by Natasha and Latifa, counseling, therapy, that outside voice, that outside person saying, "Yeah, you can't do that." I'm the only girl out of 3 brothers, and I am mindful of my eldest brother's time, are out of respect for my sister-in-law. Bless you, Paula. Bless you. As it should be. As it should be. There has to be respect for each other's time. Thank you all for the comments and the input. I knew this was going to be a rich discussion. I know that probably every other family can relate. I think it's that big of an issue. I think a lot of families can relate to this. Um, you guys can let me know in the comments later on this evening if you want there to be a part two. I would be more than happy to pick up next week and do a part two and give you guys time to stew over this and add more comments and more scenarios and more dynamics that we can discuss. So keep the comments coming even when I'm off the air, and I will take a look at them and see if there's a need for a part two. I wouldn't mind diving into it. I wouldn't mind hearing what others have to say once they get the time to watch the playback. There might be other dynamics that we haven't considered that I haven't considered. So I wouldn't mind at all doing a part two next month. So you all let me know. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for all the great comments and questions and points of view. Really, really, really appreciate it. This is called Let's Talk, and that's why it's called Let's Talk, so that we can all talk. It's not Olu talk, it's Let's Talk. Um, yeah, me too, Sandra. I would love to get a man's perspective. I think I'm going to try to reach out. Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. So, well, all of you all that are on the live right now and are listening later on tonight, if you have any brothers, cousins, husbands, fathers that you think would participate in a discussion like that, please let me know. Oh man, that would be an awesome part two to get some men's perspective. Um, that's what I'll work on. I've got all of August because our next one will be Shireen, who has a sometime. It will be the fourth Thursday in August, which will be August the 22nd. Date to be confirmed, to be confirmed, but right now it's slated for Thursday, August 22nd. Great idea. I'm going to work on finding some men. That would be awesome. And again, anybody listening out there, if you know of anybody, any men that would like to participate, please let me know. Oh, that would be good. That would be good. Yes, Shireen, great idea. You have a good evening too, Sandra. I agree too, Stephanie. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Sandra. It's a great idea, getting a man's perspective. Great idea. Thank you all for your input. Really, 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 really appreciate it. It was a good discussion. If we can get some men out next time, it'll be even better. Have a blessed night. Thank you once again for joining. I'll see you later. Bye.